How well do you really know the person living right through your bedroom wall? I'm a 26-year-old female, and for 7 years, I thought I was safe in my apartment. That was until I realized my next door neighbor wasn't just eccentric. He's a 2-meter tall, 100-kilogram giant diagnosed with severe aggressive schizophrenia. But his size wasn't the terrifying part. The terrifying part was that he believed I was a pawn in a dark real life simulation game inside his head. And one afternoon, he stood at my door and told me I had no choice but to enter his apartment because a man was trapped inside, bleeding. This is the true story of the nightmare next door and the body they eventually found on our street. It all began 6.5 years ago. I was a 19-year-old university student walking back to my building late at night with a friend. The entrance code lock was old and glitching, leaving us stranded in the dark hallway entrance. Suddenly, a cold shiver ran down my spine. A massive, booming voice echoed from right behind us, so close I could feel his breath. "Hello, girls. What are you doing?" We spun around, terrified. Standing over us was a towering figure, staring with wide, vacant eyes. He tried to sound friendly, but as he looked me up and down, a twisted smirk formed on his face. Then came the questions that made my blood run cold. "Do you live here? Is your apartment number 7 underscore? Isn't your name Dahlia?" My friend and I froze. I had never seen this man in my life. How did he know my name? How did he know my exact apartment? Paralyzed by fear, I muttered, "Yes." He smiled, helped us open the glitching door, and watched us walk all the way to my apartment, unlocking his own door right next to mine. 2 months passed in uneasy silence. Then, on a random weekday at 6 a.m., my doorbell shattered the quiet. Living alone in a unit with no peephole, I froze, pretending I wasn't home. The ringing stopped, but at 9 a.m. it happened again. Now I was paranoid. Whoever it was knew I was inside. By 11 a.m., I had to leave for university. I unlocked my door as silently as humanly possible, but the moment my lock clicked, his door flew open. There he stood, eyes bloodshot, trembling in a manic state. "Hello there," he mumbled aggressively. "I've been trying to reach you all morning. I knew you were home. We have things to discuss. Time is running out, but I have it under control. Look what I left under your entrance rug." My heart pounded against my ribs. I looked down. Hidden under my welcome mat was a metal trowel, snapped completely in half. He leaned in, whispering, "You need to help me hide it. I did something with it, something I can't elaborate on." Terrified, I didn't say a word. I sprinted past him, down the stairs and out into the street, hearing his heavy, massive footsteps chasing after me for a few terrifying seconds before he stopped. When I returned that evening, the nightmare continued. The doorbell rang again. Too scared to open it, I yelled through the thick wood, "Who's there?" His muffled voice replied, "I want to apologize for earlier, but I have so much to tell you. I am playing a real-life simulation game called Quest. You play a part in this game. There's something hidden in the garden house outside. Come outside with me right now to check it out." I refused and immediately called my dad, who lived a few blocks away. But when my dad arrived, my neighbor instantly transformed into a polite, completely sane gentleman. My dad told me I was just overreacting. I felt completely isolated and helpless, but the very next day, reality caught up. My neighbor completely snapped. He demolished our communal hallway, smashed the windows, tore down the mailboxes, and brutally assaulted his girlfriend. It took a fleet of police cars and ambulances to restrain his 100-kilo frame and haul him away to a psychiatric ward. For a few years, there was peace. He was heavily medicated, and my boyfriend had moved in with me, making me feel secure. But by November 2023, the monster woke up. The doorbell started ringing multiple times a day. Backed by my boyfriend, I opened it. My neighbor was swaying, smelling heavily of alcohol, holding a burnt-out joint. "I'm working on a new project," he smirked. "I might listen to some music loud, hope you don't mind." I told him it was fine, as long as it wasn't late at night. His eyes locked onto mine. "I know, I've heard you listening to music many times." From that night on, blasting bass shook our apartment 24/7. Our walls literally vibrated at 3 a.m. When my boyfriend confronted him, the giant exploded into a rage, screaming, "You are not my neighbor. She is my neighbor. If she has a problem, she comes to me personally." He didn't want a resolution. He wanted me. One evening, I watched him through the window. He was dragging massive, heavy black garbage bags out of the basement in total darkness, throwing them into the dumpster. It felt wrong. The next afternoon, I was home alone when he rang the bell. I opened it. He looked frantic. "Can you please come into my apartment right now? There's a friend of mine inside, and something is wrong with his leg." Every alarm bell in my brain went off. "What friend?" I demanded. "What's his name? What happened to his leg?" He hesitated, stuttering a random name. "I don't know. He's been at my house for several days. I can't explain the injury." Then his tone shifted, cold and demanding. "I'm afraid you don't have a choice. You have to come inside and help me out." I slammed the door in his face and threw the deadbolt. I knew if I crossed that threshold, I was never coming out. A few days later, a homeless man was found frozen to death on the street right outside our building. My neighbor cornered me again, rambling insanely. "It's all connected. A robbery, a dead body on the street. Everything is connected." Was the dead man the friend with the injured leg trapped in his apartment for days? Was the body in those heavy garbage bags? Did my neighbor kill him? The police never suspected him, but I know what he's capable of. He was recently arrested for attacking a police officer with custom-made spiked brass knuckles. He walks the local bars with a knife in his pocket, looking for blood. I still live next to him, and every night, as I listen to his heavy footsteps pacing against my bedroom wall, I ask myself, when will the game turn deadly?